My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. This is psychopathic pacing. And this is under the fake sun, which is relevant to engineered light monitoring. And this is mentally ill behavior. I'm documenting it because the people of the state are going to be diagnosed and committed with this evidence while they're stalking another person, and they're doing it with the airport. So you need to understand the city of Ontario is engaging in what is stalking, and this is stalking at another level of mentally ill behavior because they're going around in circles over and over and over and over again, stalking somebody. And they're doing it relevant to federal stalking. Look at this engineer light that's on the asphalt. That's not the sun that's over the sky space, and it's also not sunlight that's supposed to be the form for stalking with engineer light. That's a demon that's manifesting light in my direction. The person that the third party identified by license plates, which I document, are stalking. They're stalking me. They're stalking with light as well. And you'll see in my images, I'm capturing this demon going around and around and around. And now they're pacing by getting out of the vehicle and switching seats. They're pacing. That's all they're doing. This is the mentally ill who are the Nephilim, the demon possessed in all their behaviors. And I'm translating what it is that they're doing and the significance of what they're doing and the environment that they're doing it in. You just saw images of the Ontario International Airport flying over the parking lot. That's the entity that the people of the state, vagina monitors who are psychotic. It's a threat when a psychopath is stalking you in a bathroom. It's a threat when a psychopath is stalking you, period. It's a threat when a psychopath is engaging in what is blatantly deranged behavior. 9AQC823. This is P.O.C. You've got 3 people in that vehicle engaging in what is that pattern of conduct. Look at that light. That's impossible light activity. And it's also relevant to what is 7:42 a.m. The fake sun is remaining here at this parking lot. The Ontario police are being disbanded for the mentally ill behavior of the stalkers that are sharing in that agency's criminal pattern of conduct against me in furtherance of murder. Because, in other words, the Ontario police are criminals and they're mentally ill, sharing and targeting me with this population because they are engaged in the pattern of conduct. So are the people, and a police department is being shut down for it. Okay, to put it in plain terms, the entities, and pay attention to how the fake moves as I move. You'll see in the images, my video documentation is not the end of it. You're looking at chronologically what's happening. The entity stalking by plane, these demons engaging in surveillance in the parking lot, and they're engaging what is stalking with light. Okay, the fake sun is here as I'm documenting, and this is an entity that's impossible light that would flow backwards. Those are demons that are pacing. They're still monitoring me as I walk away from my property. They were going in circles and circles. And I'll attach a video for you so you can see what the Ontario police are doing at nightfall. Right in the same parking lot, it's relevant to where it's relevant positioning. So their positioning is based on where I'm located, where they're engaging in psychopathic pacing in the engineer light at nightfall. Okay, this is 5 BES 135, stalking. This is that's appearing in the shade. So have what is the illusion, that's not the sun. And then that's also not sunlight. That's the demon possessed that are hiding amongst the illusion that is presented to you while they're stalking and monitoring you. Okay, and then everything that those predators, those mentally ill demons say to you, you're going to prosecute for. And it is all state action. That's the government threatening you, the government cussing you out, the government that is also stalking you in places like in bathrooms, the government that is mentally ill and doing so amongst the people that engage in psychopathic pacing while they are monitoring. This is P.O.C. It's relevant to what the entire Ontario Village shopping center is going to be prosecuted for. This is Ontario Village. And this is what the entity is engaging in, including while the entity is monitoring. Everybody that's at the village is in relevant position to me. The entity that is in relevant position to me, meaning in the immediate zone of relevant positioning right in front of me, right all around me, are doing so on behalf of the entire state. Okay? The Ontario Police Department commit kidnappings on behalf of the entire state. That's why when I go from city to city, county to county, I'm documenting this because this is not over the Courtyard by Marriott in Sherman Oaks. But my evidence shows the entity keeping that fake sign over me while I'm at my hotel room during the 10 a.m. hour, and that same entity stalking by helicopter, which would be LAPD in that jurisdiction, the same exact pattern of conduct. You're going to prosecute for that. This is an entity engaging in the pattern of conduct at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. This is pointing out their mental illness. All right, the entity that is stalking you and moreover, while they're mentally ill, you're unstable, you're going to prosecute for that. You're going to be compensated for that. And this is what the federal government is going to be responsible for. P.O.C. is currently 7:45 a.m. This is the entity. License 6, Nancy Wendy 375. It's a dark-skinned Latino male. This is psychopathic pacing with this third party. As I document the demons this is an entity. So the 2 vehicles, the white vehicle and the blue SUV that are stalking in the path, surveillance, that's what this is. And the demon that's pacing around, driving in circles, and the demon that was in what was the commercial plane flying over, they're all pacing together. HOLT Boulevard is ongoing pacing as well. And so is this. They're all walking in engineered light. the stalkers of Stater Brothers, okay? Entities engaging in this pattern of conduct under the fake sun. As I document that previous video, immediately the entity replaces with another face. This is, by the way, demonic activity. Satan, who is a spirit, and these are demon-possessed people, Satan is replacing one vessel with another. The public entity that is gang stalking is replacing one third party with another, okay? And they're not individuals, this is an entity. As I document the demons that were going around in circles and circles and circles, psychopathic pacing, doing so as an entity while they're in my presence, okay? This is just what's in front of me, but this is what they're maintaining all around you everywhere that you're going. And the entity is replacing it with this third party, NOR 897, who is stalking in the path while ongoing psychopathic pacing is all around. You know, the light activity above their heads, the shadows that are appearing while they're stalking on as pedestrians, and the demon possessed are pacing back and forth right here. This is what the entity is doing inside of the OVITT Family Community Library. This is what they're doing when I'm aboard Omnitrans, getting on and off the bus while making money. This is what they're doing inside of the grocery store, where the employees and the patrons, stalkers, go inside of the grocery store and they are cloaking themselves behind a shopping cart. Okay, this is the entity that's engaged in this on the roads and the highways. This is what the entity is doing at every hotel, at every venue where I have shown the ongoing ceaseless pattern of conduct, and the entity's objective is engineered light, and it's occurring at nightfall. But I just want to show this. This is what the entity is doing, and an entity is doing so. That's pacing. Okay, and that's the entity that's engaged in that while they are witnessing me document. Those demons drive off, and they're not aborting the pattern of conduct. They're not deviating from it. They're engaging in it. And this is federal prison. This is the government that's in your face, stalking you and daring you to do something about it. You're not going to contend with that psychopath that will murder you and then contend that you committed some crime, which is why they took your life. You're going to put them in federal prison. This is the proven system of gang stalking. License 8 NOR 987 is a state actor, and they're acting in concert. These demons are in sync, including with the demons that have provided evidence against the entire entity that are the people of the state, stalking by plane and helicopter, which is exactly what the Ontario International Airport has been doing. And my documentation shows I'm right here at 7:59 a.m. This is where the entity is keeping the fake sun, as I've already shown, well into the latter morning and afternoon. So this is indeed stalking, and this is psychopathic pacing one after another. 8VKZ769. This is P.O.C. All right, this is the entity, and regarding serial stalkers, okay? The fat Caucasian female with the cursed womb who's obsessed with me. This is a demon that's stalking. They're all obsessed, okay? I don't know him. He's obsessed. He's stalking. He knows exactly who I am, though, and the demon in him is obsessed with me. And then you have the manifest behavior, which is going to be addressed with regard to being committed, mentally ill behavior. This is the same pattern of conduct amongst all of them. They have the same condition. That's why they're spending millions of dollars stalking me in planes and helicopters, by the way. This is not a theory. This is literally what's going on. It's demonic activity. And the entity's engaging in that, which is an unlawful threat. You're going to prosecute civilly and criminally for that. Okay? Satan doesn't have any economic status. This is a demon-possessed person that's monitoring and doing so for free. Okay? This is an entity that's acting together. The Ontario police are stalking, monitoring through the homeless population, through the immigrant population, through males and females alike who are equally predators, monitoring your genitalia, who are engaging in what is surveillance of you with an ongoing obsession. And that ongoing system is no longer secretly underway, nor is it going to be executed in any manner where you are avoiding being identified. This is identifying the Ontario Police Department. Mike LORENZ is being federally prosecuted. I will present a body of evidence as to why he is subject to federal prison as a terrorist leader, while that department shares in the criminal pattern of conduct, engaging in what is blatant surveillance in your face, which is an impermissible threat. It's unfathomable, including in concert with the government, with whom they're pacing in planes and helicopters like psychopaths. The brokies, but also don't be confused. The demons that are using millions of dollars on airplanes, those are brokies as well. These are thieves. They kill and murder and kidnap in order to get the resources that they have, and they're losing all of it. It's currently 8:01 a.m. This is the shared pattern of conduct. You're understanding what is the same entity, different face, different license plate, different government identification, same entity. Okay, and with regard to demonic activity, it's the same spirit. This is the demon possessed. This is the Nephilim. I am here at what is the dentist office, the King's Ink, the smoke shop, and this is adjacent to the Stater Brothers. This is all the same. location, right in front of the Habit. I've been documenting here for years. Fake sun over me in the middle of the afternoon. Okay, the entity's maintaining this fake sun at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm documenting the other day. I'm at the entrance of the Stater Brothers at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is indeed the pattern of conduct, and these are demons who are psychotic, and their psychosis is relevant to they cannot reconcile the fact that they're caught, but they're also obsessively stalking, and so the demon possessed have made a decision to be subject to commitments in federal prison and deportation and all the ways in which you're going to prosecute terrorists in the U.S. because they are more obsessed with me than they are concerned with the earthly consequences that they're going to suffer. Paul Leon is not remaining in office. This is what a population, including himself, is engaging in, and it's entirely unlawful. It's serving surveillance. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:02 a.m. This is showing what is the ongoing system that's underway as an entity. Those are monitoring on Holt Boulevard in concert with this third party, in the parking lot, in the grocery store, in every building. Starbucks is monitoring and knows what I'm stating. They're keeping my device under surveillance. They know which direction I'm going. That's why that system, and it's all shown through the fakes, and that's how that system is executed. So this is just a practical breaking down of that. And I want to document because the people of the state are going to be thoroughly prosecuted as the terrorists that they are. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:02 a.m. Alrighty, exactly as I stated, and they're flying through the fake sun. This is the entity that's engaging in that in concert with the people. Not only are the people going to prison, this is going to serve to disband what is not a police department and what is also not even an airport. And this is what Alan D. Wapner and Otif El-Kadi have been making money off of, targeting American citizens. And this is criminal activity that's together with the people. The state and the people are acting in sync, walking in and out of the grocery store, driving on Holt Boulevard, and doing so wanting to, not wanting to engage in what is, while I captured the previous video, flying over, but you already know that this is the pattern of conduct. In the moment that I stop recording that video and resume uploads, the ongoing psychopathic pacing, that's what this is in the parking lot. This demon that's in front of me and this silver car is monitoring in close proximity. This is what they're doing in bathrooms. A stalker, a vagina monitor, goes into the bathroom to be next to me while they are all pacing around, including outside using commercial planes. This is literally the evidence to prosecute the gang stalking government and the gang stalking government that are the people of the state. All right, this is P.O.C. That's exactly what it is that I'm describing. It's occurring under the fake sun, and this is the entity that is prosecuting each other. P.O.C. It is 8:04 a.m. All right, this is documentation regarding the people of the state that are surrounding, that's literally stalking. Surrounding everywhere that I'm going, they're stalking as an entity and doing so. The entity is doing so through all races. You'll see the African-American male. All right, this is a young black male, just like the older Latino male, just like the fat Caucasian older woman. There's no race and gender, no lines amongst the demons. 6VA5EK is a demon engaging in sexual assault and battery and furtherance of murder. While the video is rolling, 7VYP699 on behalf of the government, on whose behalf they're stalking. And this is relevant to the thousands of thousands of license plates that I'm documenting. The addresses, everywhere that I'm going is where the entity is stalking, and that's exactly where they're going to be prosecuted. That's where they're being identified. 24-hour surveillance, this is the entity that's engaging in that. That's impossible light on the ground. 8XWW346 is threatening me as a demon. Their mental illness is a threat to my life. Their criminal stalking with the government that's using also companies such as Amazon. Amazon is a threat, utilizing its resources as a company to share in surveillance with the people of the state who are living, traveling, and remaining engaging in surveillance, just like this serial stalker here. This is a female impossible light. She's molesting, she's engaging in surveillance, she is stalking, and that fake sun is remaining over me, proving that, and she is serially engaging in stalking in concert with the entity that engages in criminal summoning as you document them threatening your life. 9UYT358 sharing in all the violence that the entity just committed. This ongoing chaotic environment is relevant to psychological torture, doing so while they're engaged in unlawfully touching you, while the demon-possessed are stalking. Everywhere that you're going, they are present in that path with regard to maintaining activity creation. This is what is the purpose of the engineered environment and the ongoing psychopathic pacing. All right, the entities engaging in this with regard to business names such as Stater Brothers, Ontario Village Shopping Center, DD's Discounts, Amazon Prime, 9WJU863 engaged in what is the ongoing psychopathic. They're one entity. I'm documenting every license plate, but they're one entity. That's the, for practical purposes, Ontario Police Department, 80526Y3, and they have the same mental illness, same criminal activity. And this is prefacing every license plate that is going on the World Wide Web. The government maintains no privacy while they are engaging in vagina monitoring, the pattern of conduct. P.O.C. License plate 9BST384, and I dare Amazon,
UPS and every other gang stalking company, they maintain no constitutional rights under the law to keep a company, which is the federal RICO basis for prosecuting for conspiracy to murder. They're actually engaged in that criminal system while they happen to make money, provide services and products that they are profiting off of, including while they are in the process of delivering them, in the process of creating them, in the process of providing service to them. Under all circumstances, as I've shown, the pattern of conduct is remaining underway, and that criminal pattern of conduct is superseding what is a malicious guise of engaging in that criminal system in concert and on behalf of the U.S. government. The government that's engaging in what is the inhumane system of gang stalking relies on corrupt companies like Amazon Prime, who are actually using their resources to keep American citizens like me under surveillance and furtherance of murdering them. And you do not maintain a constitutional right or a constitutionally protected asset in that. I just want to be clear, this will be and shall be a basis for removing such terrorists like Amazon Prime from existence. Okay? P.O.C. Sirens and right in the path. License 8HKL278. This is mental illness. This is ongoing obsession. This is determination with regard to making sure that they stay around me. That's the P.O.C. And I want to be clear, Jay Montes, Jay Sandoval, you have the gang members of the Ontario Police. They communicate the same threat. They're engaged in that pattern of conduct together, and they're going to prison. This is the P.O.C. That's gang stalking. That's the P.O.C. And the criminal use of emergency vehicles in order to enable stalkers to keep you under surveillance, that's exactly why they're going to prison. That's criminal summoning. The entity also engages in criminal summoning when the gang members themselves are kidnapping you, asking you any question. That there are constitutional requirements, and none of them are met when you're gang stalking. You're going to prison for that, for abusing constitutional doctrines such as reasonable suspicion and probable cause. You don't have any right for search. There's no authority for search and seizure with regard to surveillance, especially when you are doing so at the outset while the people of the state are obsessively stalking, which is what traffic is, which is what this traffic in the parking lot is. Every turn that I make, everywhere that I go, the entity is maintaining presence, and it's all unprotected. It's all state action. This is P.O.C. The entities engaged in federal stalking under Title 18 in the sky space and on the roads and highways. And this is exactly what LAPD is committing when they're running over the skateboarder in the middle of the street. They're engaged in surveillance, and I've personally documented Los Angeles. Los Angeles is within the same facilitating venue of California, where California is engaging in state surveillance. Moreover, I lived and traveled to and from and worked in Los Angeles where they were engaging in the pattern of conduct. LAPD is intentionally turning on its sirens with the premeditated purpose of seriously harming and or taking the life of an American citizen that they're targeting, and then asserting that it's an accident. And who are they doing it with? The stalkers that I'm showing you are the people of the state. Okay, this is the entity. You're not free to engage in parking in the parking lot when it's serving surveillance. You're not free to do that. You're not free to engage in what is use of commercial planes. This is how an entity together, they would act like they're a witness to what is a tragic accident where LAPD is turning on their sirens and hitting the target in the middle of the street. They are the malicious pattern of conduct, and they're the ones they engage in violence on behalf of these agencies. They engage in what are murder in concert with these agencies, the same agency that's gang stalking like this. LAPD committed murder. They know exactly where you are and what you're doing. They engage in the ongoing elements of monitoring pursuant to that knowledge. And there are no coincidences, there are no mysteries under the fake sun. And because of the entity's engagement in this pattern of conduct, this is psychological torture and inhumane violation of your human rights. It is therefore an unprecedented basis for recovery and criminal activity which cannot be negotiated out of. You are going to federal prison, in other words. You are a terrorist leader while you're sitting in positions of authority, such as a police chief, such as a fire chief, such as one that is operating as an EMT, and you're engaged in surveillance. You're engaged in what is stalking and psychological torture while holding these positions. That's how terrorism is executed in the U.S. while you are a CEO of a corrupt company like Amazon Prime, stalking me in their commercial planes and their demon-possessed gang stalking employees, stalking and molesting me with impossible light under the fake sun and an engineered light. This is the P.O.C. This is an unprecedented basis for recovery. It's an unprecedented basis regarding what are the necessary responses by the federal government. It is requiring martial law under all circumstances, but there is absolutely, as I stated at the outset, a federal response for everything that Satan is doing amongst a corrupt population who are across all color lines. They want you to be racist. They want you to be discriminatory while they operate amongst all color lines, while you are operating in that conditioned mindset so that you never make the connection. This is P.O.C. Everybody under the fake sun is targeting. And they're also targeting my vagina. And that's exactly how the government's going to be prosecuted. P.O.C. It is currently 9:37 a.m. This is P.O.C. regarding Title 18 federal stalking. Is stalking, and the way that you know that this is a plane that is engaged in stalking one person in particular is the placement of the fake sun, where it's way 6, and you're looking at going back and forth. These are pacing by a demon-possessed entity that are stalking together. And what they are also doing while you're looking at this, 9EIW 892 is sharing in a sex offense that's committed by Kings Inc. Kings Inc. Tattoo at 628D. The people of the state, license plate 6FDV544, family dentistry. This is email, and his address 628 Suite C as in Charlie. Standard barber. You already know that they're gang stalkers stalking me with light while they're entering and exiting. Doing so with the entity that's committing sexual assault and battery. I'm going to prosecute the business for committing that sex offense while they're actively conspiring my murder by gang stalking me with the government that's targeting. While I am publishing the evidence, they're committing the sex offense. This is what predators do. I'm upset that you're putting the evidence about me stalking you on the internet. So I'm going to molest your breast. I'm going to accost your face. I'm going to cover your body with engineered light, which is a supernatural occurrence, which I've already proven is ongoing. And that's what this entity is doing, including with the entity that is, yes, they are going to be committed. They are going to federal prison. They are going to federal prison as well. They're committing sexual violence. And I want to be clear, when a woman is touching you without your consent, when a woman is stalking, when a woman is obsessed with your genitalia and you are of the same gender, that is a homosexual predator. And that's what the demon-possessed females are in California. Psychopathic pacing with the Ontario Police. K479T1, psychopathic pacing with the Ontario Police. It's the same thing with Southwest Airlines as with the Ontario Police. 8NCX241. This is the entity that's engaging in that. I could not have more of an admission in federal court. This is the pattern of, and the Ontario Police are the ones that are touching my breast with impossible light by the gang members who are targeting me in furtherance of murder. These facilitating venues are being prosecuted. This is the federal RICO case, and this is also the basis of damages. I already went in civil court with regard to damages. This is where the sex offense is happening. They are monitoring as employees, as occupants of these venues. They're under the fake sun, and their customers are gang stalking. They literally go and are present as customers to gang stalk. And they're literally inside of Kings Inc. right now at 628D. This is the pattern of conduct. And this is the evidence proving that the entity is engaging with a sexual violence, molesting my breast. This is the criminal conduct that the American Medical Response is committing while they are engaged in criminal summoning on HOLT Boulevard. This is relevant to what is the fake sun that's here as I'm documenting at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it is still present. It is currently 10:32 a.m. This is also relevant to what is the proof of mental illness by Mike Lorenz and the entire agency that is demon-possessed, engaging gang stalking. This is psychopathic pacing, and so is that. License 9JQF108. They're pacing together across San Antonio, across HOLT Boulevard, across Bonita, in this parking lot, and in the sky space. And this is what the airport is doing, one plane after another, after another, after another, while the fake sun sits right here over me. They're mentally ill, and the demon-possessed are not able to keep that mental illness closeted, nor can they keep their criminal activity closeted. That's impossible light that's on the ground while they are stalking with the Ontario Police. Understand, this is the basis of federal prison. They're doing the same thing. They're all in sync. 9XGW772, molesting my breast with impossible light, touching my genitalia, touching my thighs, and hitting my face with impossible light, which is relevant to psychological torture. The entities engaging in this conduct, stalking by helicopter while I'm documenting them, they're going to prison. 6AYT567, 9MCW253, 8ETA435. You're going to look at the entity that's stalking, flying around the perimeter, and as soon as I point them out, what do they begin doing? I am the obsession. This is what they're doing last night. Following me around at the library, that's what the people are doing, following me around. They follow in the bathroom on behalf of that agency. The sex offenders are going to prison. 8AHN460, Ontario Police, they don't have any hope. When you engage in this, you already know that it's over. 7DOF659, it's over for them as well. It's over for them as well. Every business, this is the Ontario Village that's going to be prosecuted for terrorism. Kings Inc. is going to be prosecuted for terrorism. The dentist's office email, you have a dentistry license, you're losing that. This is criminal conduct, which is malicious with regard to the state's P.O.C. You're losing that license. All of the dental assistances, they're losing those licenses, those certifications. You have a license that you're engaging with as cosmetology, esthetician, whatever it is that you acquire, they're losing it. They're gang stalking with it. And the entity that's gang stalking me with the people of the state is the basis to prove that. Right? P.O.C. 9GQW767, and this is prison. I just want to be clear. Federal numerosity is not a bar to justice. They're going to prison. 9TTF363. And this is what Stater Brothers is doing inside of the store. They're in the shopping aisles. They're gang stalking me in the grocery store on behalf of this agency. I could not make that up, and I have no control with regard to the entity that is so psychotic that is so lacking in self-control. This is relevant to the evidence of them committing murders and kidnappings, by the way. But they failed in sacrificing me. So they are engaging in what is admitting together that they are indeed stalking, that they are indeed engaging in sexual violence with engineer light as the frustrated hostile demons begin pacing. That's what they're doing on the roads and the highways, targeting me with impossible light. 7JHS857, Mike LORENZ is going to federal prison. This is under the fake sun, and it is 10:35 a.m. There's no sun over the OVITT Family Community Library. Those demons at that venue, as I'm documenting on a daily basis, are going. All the gang members, gang stalking on the roads and the highways. I'm documenting Jay Montez, Jay Sandoval. They're engaging. They're going to every single last one of them, and I've been documenting them over the years. I mean, down to Ross. In 2022, he's going to federal prison. There's no statute of limitations here. Stalking is a crime, and they're stalking as an entity. And this is the Nephilim that is going to be the basis for martial law. Sexual violence, one demon after another, while they're all keeping your device, and they keep your genitalia under surveillance. 9 Charlie Xavier David 006, sex offender. 7 George Wendy Henry 092, sex offender. So is Habit, the restaurant. So is the Village Shopping Center, the plaza. Okay, so is the entity that is DD's Discount, the company itself. You're going to prosecute them, and they're doing it on behalf of the government. This is not private property. None of this is private conduct, and the entity engages in what is obstruction of justice. You're looking at that pattern of conduct while they persist to engage in what is flying in circles over me as I am documenting, and they're engaging in sexual violence, terrorism, psychological torture, and furtherance of murder. Guess what? The immigrants are being deported. The city of Ontario is going to be gutted out. The fire chief is not a fire chief. The Ontario Fire Department is no more. The Ontario Police Department is no more. The American Medical Response is engaged in stalking. They are a liability. They are a threat to the public. And this is the entity that's engaging in that. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:36 a.m. This is the direct proof while the entity is gang stalking on behalf of vicariously. That is against state action. 7 CLE 296 is stalking as a vicarious state actor, not private citizens. Impossible light across the car. They are indeed stalking. That's what they're moving across my person. And it is not harmless conduct. It's psychologically torturous. It's serving for criminal monitoring, which is committed in furtherance of murder. It's also harassment and terrorism, while that supernatural phenomenon is occurring over and over again. 5R MH910, they also do it with minor children. And they also do it, as you're looking at here, they're doing it while they know that you're documenting, okay? So these venues are going to be prosecuted. This is where the sex offense is happening. And this is where, as I document that sex offense, the ongoing documented terrorism is stalking by that agency that has committed a series of kidnappings while they're simultaneously engaging in that stalking conduct. With these roaches, they're all pacing all around. All of them pacing all around, and they follow me from place to place. That's why the sun's not over the OVITT Family Community Library, because I'm not there. P.O.C. It is currently 10:37 a.m. All right, this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department, and this is the basis of federal prison for the domestic terrorists who are the people of the state of California. They're the Nephilim, and they will be subject to commitments in federal prison. 9 VGM 897. POC. Alrighty, this is where the entities engage in what is sharing and stalking together. This is what they're doing at the Ontario Town Square. This is what they're doing at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is what they're doing on the roads and the highways, as I've also shown. POC. This is surveillance on behalf of the state, crossing a path. And I want you to see, this is my shadow appearing in the shade. She's stalking. All right. This is going into the bathroom, wanting to be next to me while stalking. This is the Nissan you saw earlier next to me while they're stalking. This is the African-American male I'm taking pictures of, all genders and all races, while they're stalking and they're monitoring. These are demons. These are not human beings. Okay, and they're going to be prosecuted like the terrorists that they are. You have non-human beings that are stalking and murdering. That's what UPS did in Kentucky, murdering people. They're cloaked like human beings. These are demon-possessed people, and so are those that are calling themselves an Ontario Police Department. They're being disbanded, and Mike LORENZ is going to be going to federal prison behind this body of evidence regarding a pattern of conduct. POC, it is currently 10:39 a.m. Documentation. This is ongoing documentation regarding the pattern of conduct as I'm documenting in the videos that I am publishing. For example, this one at 10:29 a.m. The entity is engaged in what is sexual assault and battery with engineer light. This is the conduct, this is the mens rea, the mindset of a sex offender. And the entity that is demon possessed practices sexual violence by molesting the person that it is keeping criminally under surveillance and furtherance of murdering that person. coated in engineer light. This is touching your breast. It's an actual touching in a manner that is supernatural. It is also relevant to what is psychological torture while the entity commits this, especially while you're in the process of documentation, which is legally relevant. This is state action, and it is relevant to the entity that is in this video that I'm publishing onto X at 10:29:50 is when it was captured. The entity in this video begins stalking by helicopter. That's again another tactic regarding obstruction of justice. While the entity is being documented, the entity commits more acts of violence in furtherance of murder. It is all serving monitoring. This is what the entity is doing right now. So I want to show what I'm doing on X. This is while the entity is engaging in what is monitoring. This is published on X, and as I am publishing, all of these people of the state, all these license plates are a sample of that entity that is indeed engaged in monitoring in furtherance of murder. And the entity is going in and out of the venues. This is an old biddy that's a demon-possessed stalker. This is the sex offense that I'm subject to, impossible light activity. Satan doesn't have an age, and intentionally stalking what is under the fake sun. This is her intentional conduct, and it's the Ontario Police. They're doing so while I'm documenting the license plates, and this is, again, somebody that will expire in prison. This is, you're not going to be treated differently under the law, and this is a sex offense pursuant to the same pattern. This is the entity that's engaged in sexual assault and battery while they're driving. Sunlight's not ricocheting off. While you're driving and parking, the sun's not going to be over the same venue. This is 11. I'm capturing the fake sun here at 7 in the morning. This is the entity that's engaging in sexual assault and battery via engineer light through an aged, liver spot, wrinkly, demon-possessed person. The Ontario Police that are stalking by helicopters are monitoring through all of them. Okay? This is an aged third party going into facilitating venue who will be prosecuted. Okay? They're immigrants engaged in the pattern of conduct. These are gang stalkers that are from this natural-born citizens and not natural-born citizens, targeting while they're using their venues. They're engaging in that while you're open or closed. You're subject to the same pattern of conduct. You're going to be federally prosecuted. The entities engage in this while they're monitoring, admittedly monitoring, and this is a sex offender. This is exactly what the government uses as well. This old bag of bones who is a demon-possessed predator. Okay, molesting my person as sex offender. That's a P.O.C. This is state action. It is currently 11:44 a.m. This is P.O.C. pursuant to what is monitoring on the venue of the internet, where the entity is engaging in what is obstruction of justice tactics while they are keeping my evidence under surveillance. And this is committed by every single last third party that I document by license plate. They're sharing in this pattern of conduct. All of their license plates. They're inside of the venues. They're engaging in this sexual assault and battery together, and it's in furtherance of murder, and it's relevant to committing them while they are targeting ceaselessly as an entity. And that is, again, pursuant to the gang members of the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. This is activity creation by a stalker, okay? And as slow as she's walking, as old as she is, as thin as her hair is, there's a desperation regarding making sure that she cuts my path off with regard to keeping me surrounded. Okay, and that's what they are all doing, coming in and out of the store, driving in the parking lot, flying in the sky space. The Ontario Police Department told on everybody these are fools that engage in psychopathic pacing, and then you're supposed to be, I guess, forgetting about that when you're documenting everybody before and after that ongoing pattern of stalking with helicopter activity. 6 U.I.S.C. 979 is stalking, and so is Stater Brothers. And while I'm at this same entrance at 6 and 7 in the morning, the fake sun is here. Here it is, not over there. Where is it? It rises and sets over me. So at this point, it's in zenith over the top of my head, and I'm at the same address. Everybody here is conspiring my murder, gang stalking me with the government. I'm going to prosecute Stater Brothers for criminal activity, and also, which is also civilly, regarding the damages, incalculable. All right, with regard to stalking me and conspiring my murder and facilitating that and making money off of it. 6KZN197, 7MFP792. This entity is being engaged in ongoing sexual assault and battery, which every business is, and all the businesses that come to the venue to engage in that, such as Amazon Prime, such as Southwest Airlines. The entity that's engaged in what is gang stalking me here and doing so in the name of your company, your logo, I'm going to tax for that. Okay, and that's just a term with regard to, in the vernacular, with reference to what is a civil prosecution that's going to be relevant regarding damages concerning criminal conduct that is all state action. Okay, my documentation shows the fake sun over me at this same entrance where they're pacing. This is the mentally ill pacing. This is what they're doing at 7 in the morning when the fake sun's over the pan walk, the same plaza, and this is where the entity is stalking by planes, stalking by helicopter, rising and setting a fake sun. Never even went to the OVITT Family Community Library. This is the evidence regarding Mr. Gomez, Salvador, who's telling me that a third party is reporting to him that I'm recording. They know exactly what I'm doing, first of all. Number two, the audacity of you to harass me while you're conspiring my murder and engage in the psychotic conduct of not only monitoring my vagina. Look at this impossible light. This is my shadow on the floor in the shade. It's magnified in size across Don Quinones' face while you're engaging in what is monitoring my device. Okay, the serial stalker, the overweight Caucasian female with the cursed womb. She's here at 6 and 7 in the morning under the fake sun with the government targeting me, and the fake sun is here while they are targeting as an entity. All right, that's P.O.C. That's the state speaking to you. That's the state threatening you. And it is a threat when you are mentally unstable, proven through science, engage in criminal conduct, proven through science, and proven through the pattern of conduct occurring in that scientifically impossible environment. That threat is relevant to what is federal prison and damages. P.O.C. It's 12:46 p.m. Okay, regarding the video you just listened to, regarding all the evidence you just listened to that's occurring between the hours of 6 and 12, it's currently 12:47 p.m. and the fake sun, by definition, literally science and Holy Scripture itself, which by the way has more weight than science, but all of the facts are in my favor, and that's why it's a relevant reference. And my evidence, the P.O.C. is scientifically relevant. So the entity's engaging in this pattern of conduct, and the entity that's engaging in the gang stalking in a grocery store, okay, all the double chins that I'm taking pictures of in the grocery store, all the employees that are in the produce, and all of them that are stalking the inventory while they are at nightfall maintaining what is ongoing construction, and I'm referencing the amplified noise while they're drilling and painting and engaging in all that work on updating the Stater brothers. They are stalking. They're demons who are stalking. And that's the evidence that you're going to recall, because when I'm telling you that they are stalking, it's not just my word that you are having to bank on, which you're never doing that. You have to prove. And the proof of a fake sun that's over the same grocery store where everybody inside of that grocery store is stalking. Everybody can't be in the natural environment while you're competing with the OVITT Family Community Library. What are those demons walking in and out of the library doing? Okay, bigger picture, what is everyone in the city of Ontario doing while the fake sun is rising on Hope Boulevard and setting on C Street, 1 mile east of this same address? And my documentation shows I'm capturing it shining on me in the morning, and it's shining on me in the evening, where it finds its way to my face, to my presence on computer station number 1, computer station number 3, computer station number 5, where they're gang stalking. Right, this is indeed the mentally ill behavior while you are documented engaging in stalking with light, stalking with noise, stalking in a grocery store, stalking in a bathroom, stalking planes and helicopters. This is the evidence that's going to be used to commit them. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. It's 12:49 p.m. This is the cursed woman. When I say stalking, that's what I mean. She is going to prison. This is 8YNC 992. She was engaged in harassment with Stater Brothers this morning as I walk out. This is the tactics that are employed when you're documenting an entity that is gang stalking you. She is in the morning and in the afternoon engaging in what is harassing me, doing so with Salvador Gomez. These are the fools that are engaging in surveillance. She comes to the bathroom to keep my vagina under surveillance. So do all of them. 6GZK959 and coming to engage in what is with the same government, okay? This is the end. When I say mentally ill, this is not ordinary stupidity. These are demons that are highly unintelligent. They prey upon human beings. These are the demon possessed. That's why I'm capturing them engaging in very foolish conduct that's going to be presented in a court of law. This is no ordinary criminal activity. This is the same entity that engages in the psychopathic pacing in the engineer light as a ritual before they commit murder, before they have sex with children, before they engage in what is casting spells and using voodoo and black magic. This is a cult, and it's the U.S. government that's stalking. And that's a demon-possessed third party who literally placed herself on my camera lens. This is damning to Stater Brothers. It's damning to the Ontario police who are on video stalking. What are they stalking under? This is, again, this level of stupidity. This is what you're getting to, because you already know what this is done. This is a foregone conclusion. They're not human. These are the demon possessed. They're not conflicting. They're monitoring me. This is light activity under the fake sun. They're surrounding. This is exactly what they were documenting when I was at the opposite end of the parking lot. License plate 8WLA294. That's a paper plate that while a demon is engaging in criminal conduct and furtherance of murder, obstruction of justice. Okay, this is P.O.C. That third party is going to prison. The Ontario police cannot engage in criminal activity and help any of the people of the state. You're not interfering with and stopping the documentation of the people. You just added corroborating evidence so that everybody documented in that piece of evidence is going to prison. The entity is gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. They're engaging in gang stalking with the Ontario airport, including while they are stalking while flying over the sky space. The mentally ill are engaging in what is criminal activity that is proving incompetence. Incompetence that's a threat to national security. This is the pattern of conduct, and that's the ambush conduct that this entity committed, as I'm documenting. And that third party is not acting by herself. She just happens to be one who's going to prison and who has underscored her severe mental instability. And I just want to give you, as an aside, the illusion regarding racism. Okay? Not the fact that racism isn't real. It is an illusion with regard to your feeling as though you are any less than any other human being merely because of the color of your skin. This old, aged, double chin having psychopath is ostensibly a Caucasian woman, a white woman who was stalking a black woman. She's obsessed with me. Do you know why? Because it's the demons in her. Your color is merely an asset regarding the glory of God. It is not the totality of your identity, nor is it any sort of downfall. You're not better or worse because you're lighter or darker. This is a tactic of Satan. Demons who are unstable, you should not even be considering their opinions. They're keeping your genitalia under surveillance. They're engaged in the absurdity of stalking in a whole fake environment. They don't even like themselves while they utilize racism to bring down the population. I want to be clear. The entity that knows that someone who is spiritually gifted is a black woman is one that will try to weaponize an illusion like racism, which does not work on someone who is smarter than you, by the way. But you all need to pay attention to this. These are white people stalking a black woman. These are Latinos stalking a black woman. These are females, ostensibly heterosexual, obsessed with my vagina, stalking a black woman, while at the same time you're going to your KKK meetings. All I'm getting is to your hypocrisy and the lies that you tell yourself because you're deceived by Satan. Satan that has wrapped you up like a burrito for me to prosecute. Not UNC 011. This is psychopathic pacing. Like I stated on the podcast, the entity that's engaging in this conduct, they're going to be committed. This conduct right here is sufficient to have them committed. And the entity is engaging in that on behalf of the government. This is state surveillance. This is the same conduct underway at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. It is currently 12:56 in the afternoon at the same address. My evidence shows the fake sun over me at this same Stater Brothers after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I also have the documentation regarding a sunset. These are the mentally ill. This is P.O.C. Satan doesn't have a race. Satan has a whole bunch of illusions that he uses to attack people. People that are an exception to the demon-possessed, the Nephilim, who are damned to hell, who lie to you about the reality of Christ Jesus, who want you to be cursed and damned to that same fate like them, because they're envious of you. It is a game, and I hope that you wake up while you're looking at this prosecution of Satan. Prosecution of Satan that's using the name Spectrum. I'm going to prosecute that company. This is P.O.C. It's 12:56 p.m. while the city of Ontario has given itself over to me. It's in the palm of my hand. I'm going to prosecute. The state of California is going to be made an example in the U.S. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, continuous stalking, 8TBB419, following me from the Ontario Village Shopping Plaza. This is why Mike Lorenz is going to federal prison. He's going to federal prison. License plate 2SSOTW. So is that third party, but the terrorist leader himself is going to prison. 35477 Nevada, 7CVG039. And by the way, it's 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock on Sundays, where's the fake sun? The documentation, the record shows, OVITT Family Community Library. I'm here at this intersection, Vesta and Vine, 8CSS075, where the people of the state are gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport right here, threatening to engage in physical violence while the Ontario International Airport flies over their facilitating venue. I believe that's 417 C Street, and 226, if I recollect correctly, North Vine Avenue, engaging what is stalking me and then engaging in violence because you're those are the psychopaths that are engaged in gang stalking, okay? Going around and harassing the target individual that you're conspiring to murder and doing that, stalking in planes and helicopters. The terrorist leaders are going to prison for it as well, okay? This is P.O.C. License 8ZWG955. This is psychopathic pacing while it's under the crime scene. This is the crime scene identification. All these people together are obsessed with me. They're all stalking. And these are demons. They're all demons. License plate 5XPU140. This is the overweight, double chin, cursed womb, the Caucasian woman that's obsessed with a black woman, stalking. This is the same demonic spirit in all of them. They're all stalking. This is in traffic. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently, while I'm on Vine Avenue, 1:05 p.m. at 216 North Vine Avenue. And just to engage in what is wrapping up, because these demons were documented and they're going to federal prison, just like I told them in that video evidence, where the Ontario police also engaged in stalking me by helicopter while they were gang stalking at the place of residence. This was occurring in the morning while I'm walking back toward the OVITT Family Community Library, where the community is gang stalking me with the people of the state while they are inside of their facilitating venues. And this is the venue where they're engaging in that. They're speaking as Michael LORENZ. They're speaking as that agency that commits kidnappings. 226 North Vine Avenue, where Southwest Airlines flew right over here, while the entity is engaging with coming out, engaging in an assault, making verbal threats, which is audible activity, and they're doing so while they're gang stalking. And the fake sun is over me here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 1:05 to be specific. And the people of the state are following me. That's traditional stalking. Okay, while you are being documented gang stalking. Gang stalkers don't engage in what is following you themselves. They follow as an entity. One demon crosses path, another is maintaining that ongoing presence. One demon's pasted in the parking lot, I capture video. Another one comes and replaces and parks and right in front of me. One plane after another, stalking together. This entity, this demon, is engaging what is stalking me upon being documented. Which you don't have to see me capturing your image in doing so. And if I do, and everything you say is going to be used against you when you are going to prison. This is an entity that's psychotic. You're the co-conspirator of murder. It is a crime and you're going to prison for it. You keep people's vaginas under surveillance. That's not lawful, and it's also not consented to. Whether you thought that you were magical or not, you're not, you're mental, and you're going where sex offenders go. P.O.C. This is Mike LORENZ's fault. The governor of the state of California is engaged in criminal surveillance. That's why the pattern of conduct is shared amongst the Ontario police and the plethora of departments that have documented. The plethora of cities sharing in that same stalking in this environment, from state to state, Nevada and California. This is the P.O.C. The ongoing threat that I've documented is relevant for what is prison for domestic terrorist leaders like Mike LORENZ and every kidnapper of that agency. They're not the only ones. Alan D. WAPNER and the Ontario International Airport, they're going to be surprised as well with regard to what is being federally prosecuted for conspiring murder and engaging in what is leading in terrorism by a population of demons. P.O.C. highly unintelligent. P.O.C. license 1680788, sharing in psychopathic pacing, impossible light across the vehicle. Now, what is causing attention to me? What is it? He's stalking, and they're keeping my evidence under surveillance. He's going to prison. Not helping them. This is letting you know why they're stalking. 16807881114. Stalking in the parking lot yesterday in my video that I documented. That's the same vehicle. Why would you engage in that? And there's nothing that I'm doing. If nobody's gang stalking, why are you engaged? Not helping. 9JOE228 stalking. 8XCE009 stalking. 8ULU264 stalking. The demon in the white vehicle following me around the block stalking. The fat white lady with the double chins and the cursed woman at Stater Brothers as I walk out stalking. And that's the entity. Michael LORENZ is going to be federally prosecuted like any other terrorist leader. This is P.O.C. That's the entity that engages in that. You're not waving hi, we're not buddies. You're keeping me under surveillance. And that's a tactic of psychological torture. It's just like molesting me with impossible light. It's just like flying over my head by helicopter for a series of minutes while I document you. He's going to prison. That's the pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. Hey, this is P.O.C. Impossible light across the wall while a stalker with the train activity monitoring 9LPK927. You know what they're doing? It's called psychopathic pacing. This is what L. Edwards is doing during what's called criminal summoning, and it appears on the surface as a traffic stop, pulling over the people of the state as a malicious guise for stalking and psychologically torturing an American citizen whom you have conspired to murder. And it is proven in an environment that defies nature, common sense, logic, and science. This is the fake sun over me on this same street where I'm walking to the town square at 10 o'clock. It's 1:17 p.m. where they're all monitored. These are co-conspirators of murder. Psychopaths pacing around. 9TOD 409. Lights moving across the wall. Demon. 7BVU047. 8FZP356. 8JLD652. And rapidly, the fake sun moves as I move east toward the OVITT Family Community Library. But it's set for over 6 hours. They're pacing. For over 6 hours over the Ontario Village Shopping Center. Okay, where that pattern of conduct is inclusive. It's inclusive of the specific environment that defies common sense. A fifth grader can recognize that the sun didn't move. All right. However, the entity that is gang stalking and is kidnapping through corrupt courts, such as what Lisa Rogan has committed, while she's conspired my murder with the Ontario Police and San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and people like Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, the entity that has defamed my character while intentionally disregarding my evidence that is under no circumstances to be disregarded or ignored, or nor is it irrelevant, nor is it under any circumstances anything that you would ever reasonably disagree with or ignore, such that it's the conduct, or excuse me, the accumulation of information that's the product of someone who's mentally ill. This is epic with regard to the proof of the demonic activity, which is criminal conduct of surveillance by the Ontario police, who are under this fake sun, facilitating psychological torture, facilitating sexual assault and battery, facilitating criminal monitoring and furtherance of my murder, and doing so with the intent to psychologically torture through that state actor, L. Edwards, who previously committed kidnapping. And that's the tactic behind gang stalking police departments, CEASELESS 870. And then you see the demon in the black vehicle, the pregnant demon that's a closeted homosexual. She's not anymore because I outed her in that video evidence, gang stalking me while they're pacing in front of that police vehicle. That's the form of light activity. 86LMJ225. There is no explanation for this. L. Edwards is going to federal prison. His suicidal tendencies is proven through his criminal conduct, while they are anticipating, reasonably so, that I'm going to pull out my video. And no federal court is going to disregard this. In fact, it's going to put terrorists like Lisa Rogan, Thomas Garza in federal prison where they belong. I remain subject to this not only because of Shannon Dykes, Mike Lorenz, but Lisa Rogan. Okay, the presiding judge, she's a vagina monitor. She's a kidnapper. She's engaged in this criminal surveillance system targeting American citizens whom she conspires to steal from. TZ528K7, and is doing so, stalking me under the blessing, with the blessing of the demons themselves. All of the demons that are sitting in the OVITT Family Community Library are already prosecuted, and this is how the evidence is working against all of the entity that targeted me, one person. This is a video documentation regarding what the Ontario Police Department are committing just the other morning while I'm right here, and they're engaged in psychopathic pacing. This is the crime scene. Their mental illness is shown, and this is what medical professionals, legitimate ones, not gang stalking medical professionals, are going to rely upon. You can reference this with regard to being able to cite out, identify, and diagnose mental illness that seeks to conceal itself, cloak itself as normalcy, even being a law-abiding citizen, when they're actually engaged in the conspiracy, psychopathic conduct, sexually violent conduct that they derive pleasure out of, such as what the Ontario Police and the people of the state, 9 TTD 416, engage in. This is a pattern of conduct. It is currently 1:21 p.m. This is direct reference to Ontario Police, who are the gang leaders with regard to the criminal conduct that they're being disbanded for. I'm being stalked by a bunch of roaches who are pacing around, surrounding me, stalking me as I go, and they're doing so while this fake sun remains over me, the evidence of it. They committed ongoing terrorism on video, stalking by helicopter, pacing, just like they are collectively as an entity, in an environment where the sun was never over 215 East C Street, but yet here it is over me. And also, if that were the sun, if you want to contend with it, even though you can't, but I can argue both ways, even if that was the sun that was simultaneously remaining over the village and over the OVITT Family Community Library, it still would not be here at this point in the day either. This is the entity that's engaging in that pattern, but you know that that's not the case, because the demon operating vehicle number 1114, gang stalking me at 226 North Vine Avenue, is under that fake sun, monitoring me while I'm documenting the predators who conspire murder as an entity. These are the non-humans. This is the Nephilim. These aren't human beings, and that's why their stupidity is such an extreme level. The ongoing desperation when you have already been caught, it's because they're not human. These are demons, and they're going to be federally prosecuted like any other human being. But this is not, these are not human beings. These are the demon possessed. This is P.O.C. The demon possessed are being disbanded. They're going to federal prison. They're being deported. They're being separated from minor children. This is 1:22 p.m. P.O.C. Everybody in that video that I documented, gang stalk with L. Edwards, they're going to federal prison. And justice requires it, and there's no negotiation out of it. P.O.C. All right, this is malice, and this is illustrative of the malice behind the OVITT Family Community Library's criminal purpose. That's audible activity in the engineer light and under the fake sun that literally followed me to the venue. They use the PA system for purposes of monitoring me. All right, this is P.O.C. It's 11:31 p.m. and they're also monitoring my vagina in the bathroom. They just committed the perpetual sex offense. Engineer light fills, and don't forget, after 4 p.m. engineer light fills the library, where they're all sitting around walking on orange-colored light on the floor, stretching into the building. These are the mentally ill engaged in psychopathic pacing. The evidence is serving to have diagnosis of a population that are a threat to national security. The entities engaging in what is gang stalking throughout the country. It's the U.S. government's pattern of conduct, and not only am I showing that we are under surveillance, the entity that's engaging in surveillance is severely mentally ill. Severely mentally ill. Very unstable. In fact, they're pacing all around you. All right, and they try to maintain a sense of normalcy. These aren't human beings. These are demons. P.O.C. It's 1:31 p.m. You'll see the images that I just took. They're engaged in psychopathic pacing right here over the senior center, the Ontario City Hall. This is the airport. This is exactly what they were doing over the Stater Brothers parking lot where the fake sun sat for 6 hours. This is where the entity is engaging in where the fake moon is over me right now. This is where the Ontario International Airport is stalking. The Ontario International Airport is stalking in concert with the gang stalking airlines, the commercial airlines that are engaged in the pattern of conduct, okay? Looking at the pictures I just took, you're talking about maybe 3 minutes ago, and the entity is monitoring my movement. So as I'm walking around over here, the plane activity that you hear, the light activity, and it's occurring under the bullseye regarding where the government is targeting, who the government is targeting. It is myself. And this is in the specific environment where the impossible light activity is everywhere. So here's my shadow projected in front of me. This is relevant to the light activity that I showed you, the old biddy that's molesting me with impossible light, and it's supposed to occur under the guise of, oh, the sun is reflecting off of her windshield. And that's what causes my magnified size of my shadow to appear on the wall. It's just sunshine reflecting. That's not even the sun. And that's a stalker, a demon-possessed one. And so are these that are engaging in what is sexual assault and battery, while the same light activity is present at nightfall. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct while they are monitoring me and doing so stalking as an airport in furtherance of murder. This is exactly what the Ontario Police Department did, stalking by helicopter. The people of the state are demons. It's like they're taking a tour in Disneyland regarding gang stalking. They're just taking their turns walking through, doing so as couples, gang stalking families. Doing so while they're walking their dogs in this engineered environment under the fake moon in concert and on behalf of the state. The exact same carnival of demons gang stalking me and maintaining this ongoing ritualistic conduct, like what you saw during the duration of time, is what you see today. A fake sun set over that parking lot of one venue, the Ontario Village Shopping Center, for 6 hours. And then it followed me as I came to this venue, the OVITT Family Community Library. You're even looking at the fake moon's not even at the entrance where I typically am remaining at the front. I'm at the back, and that's where the fake moon is, which is where the entity is stalking, keeping a fake sun over me. Want to document this? This is relevant to every license plate that I documented. The entity stalking me by helicopter, doing so as a department. The department has totally no regard whatsoever for being prosecuted as terrorists. This is relevant for the prosecution, the details regarding Michael Lorenz and the maniacal conduct that department is engaging in. Okay, this is P.O.C. and it is state action committed by the people of the state. It is currently 7:52 p.m. The entity flying over my head as I'm walking in the Ontario Village Shopping Center parking lot. This is the same elevation that they're doing, feigning a takeoff over the City Hall. So this is, again, like I've already shown throughout the years of the Ontario International Airport stalking me, and airlines like Southwest Airlines stalking, they're engaging in what is blatant, conspicuous surveillance, not even mimicking what is a takeoff from the airport. There's only one airport in Ontario, the two terminals, and the entities engaging in this conduct over the Wells Fargo, whereas you're west of that location, you're engaging in increasing elevation from a takeoff if you've ever been on a plane, coming from the airport, moreover, where the entity's flying miles away to engage in that. That's for the stalking purposes of license EH30J76. The smoke shop, they're gang stalking as I'm walking in the parking lot. You've got the third party outside of the smoke shop. They're monitoring 9GKK081. These are the demons that we're monitoring under the fake sun. The entity has the fake moon that moves as I move. Now it's over me, where the fake sun remained over me for 6 hours. And as I walk from the OVITT Family Community Library to the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where this shopping center is engaging in what is stalking, when I'm showing you what the entity is doing with regard to what is entirely demonic. These are not just stalkers. These are demon-possessed stalkers who are using commercial airline companies to keep their planes following me around in the city, which is an unprecedented threat to my life, and it's psychologically harmful, for which every airline, not just Southwest and UPS and American Air, every single airline, the airport itself, will be federally prosecuted as terrorists and sex offenders who are indeed engaging in and are facilitating vagina monitoring, conspiracy to murder. They're all stalking together. And you're not doing anything other than that under the fake sun, no matter what you call yourself doing. They're delusional while they engage in that and look to the left and the right, and then engage in asking questions like, oh, what are you doing? This is where the entity flew in circles over my head with the fake sun over me, and I'm at the same exact location with the fake moon over me, where the airport is indeed stalking. This is P.O.C. This is, in other words, the successful federal prosecution of the U.S. government that occurred on the internet first, which is a matter of necessity because the gang stalking courthouses are engaged in the pattern of conduct of facilitating kidnapping, which is also why the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department are being shut down. The Ontario Police are being disbanded. And it's relevant to the courthouses and the Sheriff's Department sharing in this system of kidnapping. All right, you're looking at these vehicles. This is all surrounding. This is all surrounding. This is a threat as you're looking at what their purpose is: presence, noise, light, stalking in that environment. And they all keep my vagina under surveillance. They know exactly who I am, and they are going to be prosecuted. They are the people of the state. Every single last one of their license plates put on the internet, they have no privacy, and they're conspiring murder, and I'm going to prosecute and expose them as such. This is P.O.C. They don't have any privacy. P.O.C. It's currently 8:42 p.m. Stalking with the police, 9 ppw 325. This is psychopathic pacing. There's Ontario Police. They're being disbanded. 16303W3. And deportation where it applies. And the entity's doing that with the fake sun over me today, right? Guess I fall with the fake moon over me at the same venue. What are they doing with the minor? They are stalking. And any and everything that they say is serving for what is that government stalking you with guns, badges that were exercising authority under the law, stalking vicariously, speaking as that state, asking me questions you know the answer to. I absolutely undocumented you engaging what is stalking me with that department stalking. Not coincidentally, they did the same thing this morning as I'm that was the afternoon. As I refer to the entity gang stalking me and molesting with impossible light, as I refer to the entity gang stalking as a police department, what do the demons do that are already engaging in surveillance, including on the internet? They engage in what is conspicuous surveillance, because this is the vicarious means of surveillance. While you arrive in helicopter activity, that's Mike LORENZ who's going to prison. P.O.C. He is going to federal prison, and this is psychopathic pacing. All right, that's P.O.C. Just want to make sure you understand what the Ontario International Airport is engaging in. License 6YRT801. All of them. And this is regarding numerosity of all those sharing in a criminal conspiracy to commit murder. This is a system, a criminal enterprise in California, and the U.S. government is engaging in it. And while it is already exposed, this is an entity that's being prosecuted, engaged in ongoing years of obstruction of justice. This is the entity that's engaged in defaming my character, committing crimes in my name, stealing my identity, stealing my property, engaging in what is repeatedly kidnapping, and then maintaining a false narrative about arrests, which were criminal acts committed against me while they are stalking. Shannon Dykes, Mike LORENZ, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. There is no warrant. There is no lawful arrest. There is no probable cause, reasonable suspicion. There is no authority under the law to engage in surveillance. They're not free to do that when it's serving criminal surveillance, federal stalking. And they're doing it with the people who are also not free, including where they live and work. That's why Salvador Gomez is going to prison. This is P.O. And this is how all of that evidence, including right now, is serving his engagement and what is communicating a threat to me inside of this grocery store where they're stalking. And that's a federal RICO case as well. 90 CP 874. This is P.O.C. It's 8:44 p.m. The mentally ill are stalking in helicopters, and the Ontario Police are going to be the basis for committing gang stalking police departments. Those that are engaging in what is criminal surveillance, they do so in psychopathic manners, and it is the evidence that's also serving not only convict them as terrorists, but to have them committed, which is exactly when you're engaging in stalking in this unprecedented, demented, and maniacal manner. This is not scary. This is disturbing. These are demons who lost, and then they're doing it in front of the whole world, showing how the United States of America has made a fool of itself while an American citizen has exposed them and conducted their own investigation to prove that they are engaging in terrorism suffered by its own government. That's why Mike LORENZ is going to federal prison. P.O.C. It's currently, by the way, 8:45 p.m. This is informing everything I documented at this venue while the entity kept a fake sun over me for 6 hours in the same parking lot. All right, that's P.O.C. Every second regarding stalking, conspicuous stalking. This is ongoing psychological harm, ongoing damages, which are incalculable, and they're going to be compensating for that. And they're also going to prison. This is real informing federal prison time. P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 8:48 p.m. The third party committing sexual assault and battery. These are sex offenders engaging in what is molestation with engineered light on behalf of the Ontario Police, who are currently pacing above the parking lot. This is license 8YVD374, and they're engaging in surveillance and sexual assault and battery with El Pollo Loco. What I'm capturing is the pattern of conduct that's underway, and its third party comes out of the vehicle to engage in what is making a purchase while they are gang stalking simultaneously. That's the federal RICO case. This is literally the execution of gang stalking while the entity is stalking you from place to place. And the entity is engaging in this while you're looking at that proof of purchase. I'm documenting it at 8:48 p.m. while the driver of that vehicle is engaging in what is molestation, while the Ontario Police, the video you just listened to, they're engaged in monitoring, they're stalking you on behalf of that police department in furtherance of murder. All right, this is El Pollo Loco. P.O.C. is currently 8:49 p.m. It's literally rising over the Ontario Town Square townhomes. This is stalking and commercial planes. Flying over the El Bacon. Flying right over the roof. This is hovering. Now, miles from here, they're hovering in the same manner over the Stater Brothers parking lot. And then the Ontario Police engaged in stalking, flying in circles by helicopter. This is what the entity's doing over that apartment complex where the senior citizens live. The reason why they're not flying over there right now is because I'm not over there, and they stay on the south side of my person. All right, they're stalking. They're stalking at Wells Fargo with their hazard lights on. That's why I document the license plates. They are engaging in keeping me under surveillance with the light activity, presence in the path, monitoring on my devices, and monitoring my physical movement. That's why you have what is the engineered environment where you have the multiple shadows. One shadow here, one shadow in front of me. My person is being monitored. You are stalking me while you are monitoring my person, and this will be prosecuted as a sex offense. It is that which the entity is stalking me in, and so you will be held legally liable for criminal activity while I'm in that environment and you are stalking me in furtherance of murdering me. And a whole airport is stalking by hovering over Metro 102 apartments. There are no planes taking off right there. This is the P.O.C. And where is the fake moon? Okay, the fake moon is right here over my head. It was over there while I was at the OVITT Family Community Library over my head. And it was right over my head where the Ontario Police Department stalking me by helicopter and the Ontario International Airport stalking me in particular, not everybody else. The fake moon's not moving over their vehicles. It's remaining right over me, just like the fake sun was remaining for 6 hours over the Stater Brothers parking lot. I cannot make up this level or pretend, and with this amount of evidence, the entity that is stalking, we are at a point now to where the evidence has already proven it. The fact that the government, the airport, this Ontario Airport Board, Alan D. Wapner, you're getting down to names. The fact that the entity is still stalking at this level of evidence. This is the entity that is subject to federal prison. This is what you need to understand. And that is what is going to happen. It is a matter of justice. These companies are being federally prosecuted for criminal activity and then held civilly liable for criminal activity. And federal prison is resulting from the criminal activity committed by Southwest Airlines, committed by UPS, committed by American Airlines, committed by Amazon Prime Air. This is relevant to what justice requires. You're looking at this ongoing impunity when you have been proven guilty on the social media channel itself. That is an unlawful threat. They're all stalking. And I will continuously expose the entity. No gang stalker is a private citizen engaging in any private activity at all whatsoever. And that is not going to be used to protect anybody that's engaged in the pattern of conduct. And you are. Everyone around me is stalking. Every single last person, and there is no exception, and the P.O.C. already proves it. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:17 p.m., where the Ontario International Airport, the evidence is going to show, they're hovering over Metro 102, stalking, hovering over the 280 North Limit Apartments, stalking, hovering over the Ontario Town Square property, stalking, hovering over the El Bacon, stalking, hovering over the downtown Ontario Luxury Apartment, Sarah's Regis, stalking, hovering over west of this location. When are you going to start rising in elevation so that you're not creating an ongoing perpetual nuisance throughout the city? Because that's what they're doing. When I'm west of this location, they're doing the exact same thing. In the exact same environment. The sun and the moon over me. That's stalking. And this is the entity and this is what is relevant to informing federal policy. This is ongoing desperation. This is obsession, and this is also mental illness. And they're doing so on behalf of the government right in front of your face. Terrorist leaders and the people of the state themselves are going to be federally prosecuted. And it's also relevant to what is protecting the American public from the Nephilim, the demon-possessed who are stalking an American citizen. They're stalking people altogether, and you're looking at how they do so in the face of evidence proving it. They never wanted to be exposed. Now they're exposed, and they're still stalking. Because that's what this is at 11:17 at night. The Ontario Town Square is not open. They're engaging in surveillance just like they are on the surveillance cameras at Wells Fargo, engaging what is presence in the path on behalf of that government that is acting vicariously through a population of demons, wanting to be around me, and they do the same thing in the bathrooms, wanting to be around me while my vagina is exposed, wanting to be as close to me as possible, stalking, born of obsession, rooted in what is mental illness because they are in fact demon-possessed. This is P.O.C. It's 11:19 p.m. Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are going to federal prison for this. It's not just Mike Lorenz and these government actors. The people of the state who I know who have played an instrumental part in targeting me, they are going to federal prison for this. And there is no investigator that's engaging what is keeping my vagina under surveillance and then trying to claim that you were investigating when you have been a part of the pattern of conduct, even prolonging this ongoing, the ongoing damages that I'm documenting. And that goes for Jason Isaac Fields. He is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:19 p.m. It's literally rising over the Ontario Town Square townhomes. This is stalking and commercial planes. Flying over the El Bacon. Flying right over the roof. This is hovering. Now, miles from here, they're hovering in the same manner over the Stater Brothers parking lot. And then the Ontario police engaged in stalking, flying in circles by helicopter. This is what the entity's doing over that apartment complex where the senior citizens live. The reason why they're not flying over there right now is because I'm not over there, and they stay on the south side of my person. All right, they're stalking. They're stalking at Wells Fargo with their hazard lights on. That's why I document the license plates. They are engaging in keeping me under surveillance with the light activity, presence in the path, monitoring all my devices, and monitoring my physical movement. That's why you have what is the engineered environment where you have the multiple shadows. One shadow here, one shadow in front of me. My person is being monitored. You are stalking me while you are monitoring my person, and this will be prosecuted as a sex offense. It is that which the entity is stalking me in, and so you will be held legally liable for criminal activity while I'm in that environment, and you are stalking me in furtherance of murdering me. And a whole airport is stalking by hovering over Metro 102 apartments. There are no planes taking off right there. This is the P.O.C. And where is the fake moon? Okay, the fake moon is right here over my head. It was over there while I was at the OVITT Family Community Library over my head. And it was right over my head where the Ontario Police Department stalking me by helicopter and the Ontario International Airport stalking me in particular, not everybody else. The fake moon's not moving over their vehicles. It's remaining right over me, just like the fake sun was remaining for 6 hours over the Stater Brothers parking lot. I cannot make up this level or pretend with this amount of evidence. The entity that is stalking, we are at a point now to where the evidence has already proven it. The fact that the government, the airport, this Ontario Airport Board, Alan D. Wapner, you're getting down to names. The fact that the entity is still stalking at this level of evidence. This is the entity that is subject to federal prison. This is what you need to understand. And that is what is going to happen. It is a matter of justice. These companies are being federally prosecuted for criminal activity and then held civilly liable for criminal activity. And federal prison is resulting from the criminal activity committed by Southwest Airlines, committed by UPS, committed by American Airlines, committed by Amazon Prime Air. This is relevant to what justice requires. You're looking at this ongoing impunity when you have been proven guilty on the social media channel itself. That is an unlawful threat. They're all stalking. And I will continuously expose the entity. No gang stalker is a private citizen engaging in any private activity at all whatsoever. And that is not going to be used to protect anybody that's engaged in the pattern of conduct. And everyone around me is stalking. Every single last person, and there is no exception, and the P.O.C. already proves it. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:17 p.m., where the Ontario International Airport, the evidence is going to show, they're hovering over Metro 102, stalking, hovering over the 280 North Lemon Apartments, stalking, hovering over the Ontario Town Square property, stalking, hovering over the El Bacon, stalking. Hovering over the downtown Ontario luxury apartment, Sarah's Regis, stalking. Hovering over west of this location. When are you going to start rising in elevation so that you're not creating an ongoing perpetual nuisance throughout the city? Because that's what they're doing. When I'm west of this location, they're doing the exact same thing. In the exact same environment. The sun and the moon over me. That's stalking. And this is the entity and this is what is relevant to informing federal policy. This is ongoing desperation. This is obsession. And this is also mental illness. And they're doing so on behalf of the government right in front of your face. Terrorist leaders and the people of the state themselves are going to be federally prosecuted. And it's also relevant to what is protecting the American public from the Nephilim, the demon possessed who are stalking an American citizen. They're stalking people altogether. And you're looking at how they do so in the face of evidence proving it. They never wanted to be exposed. Now they're exposed and they're still stalking. Because that's what this is at 11:17 at night. The Ontario Town Square is not open. They're engaging in surveillance just like they are on the surveillance cameras at Wells Fargo, engaging what is presence in the path on behalf of that government that is acting vicariously through a population of demons, wanting to be around me, and they do the same thing in the bathrooms, wanting to be around me while my vagina is exposed, wanting to be as close to me as possible, stalking, born of obsession, rooted in what is mental illness because they are in fact demon possessed. This is P.O.C. It's 11:19 p.m. Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields are going to federal prison for this. It's not just Mike Lorenz and these government actors. The people of the state who I know who have played an instrumental part in targeting me, they are going to federal prison for this. And there is no investigator that's engaging what is keeping my vagina under surveillance and then trying to claim that you were investigating when you have been a part of the pattern of conduct, even prolonging this ongoing, the ongoing damages that I'm documenting. And that goes for Jason Isaac Fields. He is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:19 p.m.